to be here. Today we're going to be featuring Leviathan's Zeusator build. And before we get started, I just want to thank everybody for being here and go ahead and introduce you to everybody that we have on stream with me today. First up, we've got Travis Day, game designer.
Hello.
And we've also got Monstrous, who's one of our MVPs on the forum, also known as Nolan.
Hey there.
And then last but certainly not least, we've got Steven, who is Leviathan, the gentleman who submitted the build we are featuring today.
Aloha, everybody.
Now, just to give you an idea, Theorycraft Thursday live streams are a little bit different than the ones that we've done in the past. This is much less about being a Q&A and much more about us hanging out, sharing our builds, talking about the build that we're featuring, and really just hanging out and having fun. So while we're happy to take a look at your questions and see what you've got going on, that's definitely not going to be the focus today. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into some T1 rifts. The reason we're doing Torment 1 today is because it makes it a little bit easier to facilitate conversation without getting too distracted or, you know, constantly dying. So
Face roll will begin.
Yep. So we're going to go ahead and hop into a rift and get this started. Why don't we start off with Steven telling us a little bit about his build?
All right, definitely. So yeah, I'm mainly, I should say, a hardcore player. And I rolled the Crusader on day one. So the idea for me was to just find something that sort of built off of what I was finding in the game. It wasn't like I had a bevy of my inventory saying, let me pick this build. So the build that I ended up submitting, that I called the Zeus, mostly just came about from whatever I was finding as I started to do rifts and things like that after hitting level 70. One of the first items that I got was the Haunt of Vaxa, and that when you stun, it makes 2 clones. So I'm seeing those guys pop out every now and again, and I'm thinking, all right, well, now I have a little entourage, and I've got my follower, I've got those 2 guys joining me every now and again, and then I threw Phalanx on there just to have more people, and it ended up being a really cool build because it was focusing a little on CC, getting a lot of the stun to proc the clone, so having the Phalanx guys provide support damage. And so I'm that, and I figured, you know, I got a Shira, so then I'll go for the 4P. The follower is always popping out. Pretty much from there, just kept iterating on it, adding more. Turned out to be all right.
That's actually kind of, I'm using a variation on your build that's even more pet-oriented, because I tossed in Falling Sword, Rise Brothers, and after I got my Tasker and Theos, it just seemed like the best route to go.
Yeah, I'm jealous of the Taskers. I wish I had those.
I got a pair off Kadala, and I think all the Witch Doctors in my clan got sad panda face.
I'm using the strength ones on my Demon Hunter rebuild. Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's still worth it. I mean,
Yeah. I'm sure it's still better, but it's sad face.
That's probably what's going to happen to my Witch Doctor, actually, is I'll end up tossing these ones over to my Witch Doctor when I move on to a different build.
Gotta make do with what you got, right?
Right. So we've all kind of got different builds going on in here. Like I mentioned, I'm using something that's pretty close to Steven's build with like some slight variation. Right now I'm really super resource starved, so I'm using Shield Glare, Zealous Glare to make up for it.
What did I get? Dang it.
Oh, I just got in the
What'd you get?
chest.
Anyone need a bottomless potion of... Which one is this? Potion of the Diamond?
pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
on
well,
the
Steven
ground.
and I can fight for
We're all
it.
gonna fight each other.
Deathmatch, go!
How do you want to do?
Nah, you can have
Random
it. Just go ahead.
1-100.
Take it.
Oh, wow.
You normally play hardcore, so...
Yeah, but
Oh, I got something over here.
I still want my Kool-Aid. I'm so sad I have not found one. I think I've gotten like 10 legendary potions, but not that one yet.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go look at the drop rate one day, like, did I make that really rare? Nope, I'm just not getting lucky.
So I know we're all just kind of using what we've got available. Travis, you've got all kinds of Crusaders.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you're playing right now?
No.
No.
No, you can just use your imagination. No, this is the I feel like being lazy build. It's just free Blessed Shield and Jake and Board, and then 2-piece Hog Guild, 2-piece Blackthorns, etc. You just chuck shields for free and watch them do the little thing. This is I don't want to think right now, so that I can talk and actually pay attention to conversation. So instead of putting on my shotgun build or fire build or the pet build, I would just do this. This is what I do when I 4-box, because I just aim in a general direction and things die. Like, how about that part of the screen?
Yeah, I'm using almost like a hybrid of what you've got going on, because I have my Jecking board, but I don't have the Gear Falcon. Yeah, the Gear Falcons yet, So instead, I'm like, well, I really want to use my Jecking board, but I don't have the full build. So
you don't need the Gear Falcons to do shield
yeah,
build if
I
you
don't
want it.
need it, but it would be nice.
Grab a 2-hander. That's good, and
Yep.
that way you don't burn your resource too quick, and you get the most most bang for your buck.
Also, if you get the shield glare shield,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
AoE's
using.
around, that's really good for just keeping topped off.
Yeah, but not for Jake and Board, because you need the Jake and Board.
Right, I guess you need
yeah.
that. True. Yep.
So Nolan, how about your build? Let's talk about yours for a moment.
I am playing a very popular build right now, like the Holy Shotgun build.
Shotgun spec.
Shotgun. Actually, it's a shotgun because shotgun sprays. But yeah, so it really is built upon Fate of the Fell, which actually shoots out 3 Heaven's Fury. So combine that with the Fires of Heaven rune, you're shooting out 3 beams at once, and then you want to stack as much reduce cooldown as you can. So you can have Akarat's Champion up almost permanently, and you don't have to really worry about resources. So you can actually just spam it nonstop, and it's really, really strong. Especially when you stand close enough, all 3 beams can hit the same target. And like on my screen right now, I'm seeing anywhere from 50, depending if I open up, because I've got Harrington's belt too. I can see anywhere from 50 to 100 mil crits 3 times. So I can hit at the same target 300 mil in one hit. So yeah, but it's very gear intensive. You have to min and max your gear quite a bit to get it, and you have to get pretty lucky on drops. It's heavy. You need the full Akon set as well. So I've been pretty lucky with that. Yeah. I've been playing around with some other builds though. I've got Fire Crusader in the works, and I've got the shield build as well. So I've been playing around with a couple other builds as well.
There you go. Have another Forgotten Soul of someone.
Be there to pick up the delivery in the moment.
Don't be that. He probably needs it. Actually, not, it's actually not too
I
bad.
hope that's not an upgrade.
Well, he did just hit 70 like last night.
That's fair.
So.
Yeah.
That's fair. And why are you letting him have loot? He doesn't care about that character.
So that we can actually play together once
Deathmatch.
in a while. I
Deathmatch,
just
go.
went into the wrong portal.
We're trying to convert them over to softcore. Usually it's people trying to convert people
Really?
over to hardcore, but
The
yeah,
other way, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm thinking about making a hardcore when seasons go out.
One of us.
Hardcore, it's definitely fun. It's a lot of fun. I just I've
It's
always
not fun dying,
refused.
but
Well, I've always refused because I always said if I like lost my character inevitably to like a power outage or something in my house, I would be incredibly frustrated. And I know that inevitably that will happen at some point if I just played hardcore. So I just saved myself the anxiety. But I think hardcore's tons of fun. It's a lot more high tension, which makes everything just feel more exciting. Because if you die, you gotta start over to some extent.
Oh, yeah.
You keep your Paragon, and inevitably you've got like crafting plans, so you can get your gear caught up pretty quick, and like tertiary versions of the gear you're wearing, but still.
Yeah, I need to level my hardcore characters. They've just kind of been... I wanted to get everybody on softcore to 70 first. I'd like to have a 70 of everything on both sides, but that's a big investment.
That is.
Long-term goal.
Someone in chat told me to get a UPS, bro. That won't save my internet connection from disconnecting. Like, I have, I don't even know if I have Cox or Comcast, I forget. But it's one of those things where when you live on the internet, if your internet's out for like 5 minutes, you're just hyper aware, like, oh my god, the internet's out! Oh no, I clicked that shrine and didn't put on my bracer. Oops. Yeah, we'll see. I might just man up and do it when seasons come out. I would need seasons seem like a good time to just, you know what, I want to try something different. Let me just do it right now. Fresh environment,
Definitely.
all the races, leaderboards, etc.
So how have those been going internally? Like just testing.
They're
Are you finding them
awesome.
pretty fun? Like internally?
Yeah, no, they're a ton of fun. We did some playtests of, well, I mean, we've done a tremendous amount of playtests, but we did tests specifically of like, you know, the leaderboard, and we had everyone on the team do assorted tiered rifts in teams or solo. Kind of like we're doing right now. I'm just off derping, not even paying attention, y'all. Yeah, no, it was a good time though. Tiered rifts are a ton of fun. It's really nice. It's a very clean experience. You don't have to worry about like picking up items. You just worry about trying to kill everything as fast as you can and optimizing how you play your dungeons. So it's a good time. I'm really looking forward to it.
Obviously, you stop for the legendaries though. You try to pick those up as quick as you can, or no?
No, we literally do not drop items into your rifts.
Really?
Except the boss drops all the loot. So,
Okay.
so the bosses have a really, really high chance of giving you legendaries and all your gems and crafting mats, etc. But we don't drop items off the monsters because we don't want players having to worry about inventory management while also trying to race a clock. And when you play it and you sit down, you're like, oh man, this is actually way better if I don't have to worry about items. Just kill everything. And then you get to the end of the dungeon, you get all your loot, and it's like, hooray. Fat loot. Scoreboard. Tiered
So
rifts.
you've been working on season like legendaries.
I have been doing that, yeah, among
Is
other
it
things.
season legendaries or ladder legendaries? Where
Seasons?
Seasons.
They're
some
called
are
seasons.
Same, I guess.
Yes, they're called seasonal. Actually, I was just working on that yesterday. I finished a bunch of those. Or at least first pass finished. We got to test and polish and tune and whatnot. But yeah, so we're going to have new items in 2.1. We're going to, over time, we're going to be retrofitting. We're going to be both retrofitting old items and also adding new items. The goal for Reaper of Souls launch originally was like every legendary is something special, but we just couldn't do all of that. There was just so many of the old ones that existed that it was just a tremendous amount of work. But we've said that's still really important to us. So, you know, as every patch comes out, we're going to take some of the old ones, make them new. We're going to introduce new items with new powers. So you'll see things like, I don't know, Heart of Iron, right? Like, that's a good example. Sounds cool. Why is this so dumb? It doesn't do anything. Like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't do anything. Let's fix that. So.
Oh man, now you're telling me this, and I've been salvaging all these.
No.
Now I'm going to be more inclined to hoard
Well, I'm
all
not-
of the items instead of just.
And this
those
is why
other-
we're not retrofitting them. The old items will stop dropping. We'll replace it with a new version of the item. It's not going to change items in your bank. So definitely do not begin hoarding even worse.
Okay.
I'm sure you're already hoarding enough as is. Don't need to
Oh
compound
yeah,
that.
definitely.
Yeah.
Did
That's what we've been working on.
I was curious. Did you find that when you're working on the different items that you're, in development and things like that, if they go and change some of the Crusader skills, is that then force you to go?
Funny story. The Invoker set was originally created to be a Crusader set. Because early in the development of the class, we were going to have a lot of like thorns hooks. You know how like monks have like your heals get better with health globe. There was going to be a lot of things like something thorns, and there were a lot of those in place at the start. And we had like the thorns passives for the class and stuff. But I think at some point in development, Andrew decided he was not enjoying that, or it wasn't working out basically. So he got rid of the thorns elements. But I wasn't aware that we got rid of the thorns elements, so then we ended up with like, yeah, invokers, it's a thorn set. Wait, what do you mean Crusaders don't like thorns? Wait, so they don't use thorns at all? Okay, so this set just sucks? Sweet. So that's kind of how we got there. Yeah, it was unfortunate, but does anyone have a barbarian who's got a Raycor's helm?
Well, I have one of everything, so
Does anyone play a barbarian?
that's
I do, but I
number
already have it.
3.
Okay.
Here's
It's all you
Stick it in
can
my
do.
own bank then.
here's a really good amulet for a holy build. It's
You just
Yeah.
swapped a holy, didn't you?
I'll
Steven?
crack the next rift.
I did, but on hardcore.
you can
Uh,
actually re-roll that to be like really really good. So
Maybe I'll try and reroll for the lightning on it.
you're gonna re-roll for the light.
Lightning.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say you could get crit damage and go holy crit damage.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
true. Maybe I'll just try and emulate the other, the new version, the 2.0 Zeusator.
Yeah. 2.0.
You only changed up a couple of skills on that, right?
Yeah. Well, after we had our talk about how good what is it? Laws of Hope
Oh, yes.
Ah,
and Wings of Angels. That was I actually ended up taking out the horse. Believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
what?
Yeah.
Crazy town.
No more horse in the zoo. But instead of that, so that enabled me to use that as my movement skill. And obviously, it's also the law that I was using, so I had a free slot. And I swapped in Falling Sword. And using that with Flurry on there, I actually like it a lot because it's just more lock. And mobs gets, sort of stunned when they're circling around there.
Yeah, it's a good time.
There's something really satisfying about Flurry when you're hitting monstrous creatures with it, like the beasts in Act 1, and watching them spin around helplessly.
Yeah, like those huge bodies just getting pushed. So true.
Because it's just ridiculous enough that I don't ever really get tired of it.
I like that though when you get sort of those like comedic relief moments, Obviously it's serious or killing demons and stuff, but nice to have those moments you can kind of just laugh at what's going on screen.
I had it
Kind of like the moments when like a legendary drops, but it's a molten, so it's gonna explode, and so the guy runs in to get it, and then just it blows up. I never get tired of that. Never.
Yeah, we had a moment like that in a we were doing 4-player, like I think T6 or something, and we were all wearing unities, and we just killed a champ pack that was molten, and one of the guys ran in to grab an item, and the whole group died. It was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, we used to try to troll somebody. Like we'd throw on our unities, and like he wore one all the time. And so we'd throw ours on and stand in an explosion, and he'd die, and he was on the other side of the map, and
Yeah,
he didn't understand what was happening, but we were just whispering each other laughing.
I think
pretty
the
fun.
funniest stuff I've ever seen is when someone was wearing a unity because they're like, "Oh, this got good stats," and then they join a game, not realizing the whole purpose
What
of
it
the item
does.
is to split damage amongst people, and then they're like, "Why am I dying?" The first time John Yang and I hopped in a game with John Yang, and I'm a Crusader, so I'm doing the Crusader thing, punching dudes in the face, throwing shields at them and stuff. And he's like, "Oh my god, what's killing me? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." He's like, "Oh, I forgot I had Unity on." It was pretty awesome.
Well, because he's got the follower legendaries already, right?
Oh, I don't know. He may
I'm
have just
sure-
been wearing it for the sake of it had good
Oh,
numbers on
sake
it.
of it had, yeah.
High stats.
I like that little combo of the follower legendary, and it really helps solo it.
Oh yeah.
It's like so important for a couple, especially like demon hunters and classes that aren't that strong as far as like living. You can stack a little bit more damage and give up a couple resistances or something.
Yeah, it's funny because I would like read threads on like our forums or Reddit or stuff. People are like, "You're exploiting. That's a bug." It's like,
It's
why would you even think that's a bug?
yeah.
It very intentionally works this way.
I'm pretty sure in like beta or the alpha too, it actually said it works on followers. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
it said
did
that.
it?
Yeah, I think it did have that clarification.
Yeah.
Maybe.
for a
So
while.
I mean, like, so right away, kind of like that's the intent of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still going around.
It was it was very deliberate. It was meant to be. I mean, it's meant to be a co-op thing, right? Like, we had people. I think I've told the story before, but I'm gonna retell it anyway. So suck it. We had people all the time that were like, "Dude, I want an item that makes fire chains between all the people using it." And we were like, "Yeah, that's kind of cool." And then we talked to our tech artist, and they're like, "Yeah, that's not real cool. That's just gonna be noisy and confusing." And you're like, "All right, that's a good point. That's a good point." And that idea kept coming up with like, all right, well, what can we do with everyone wearing the same item? We're like, we split damage. We soul link everyone. How about that? And then we're like, but then it sucks in solo player. Like, okay, we'll split damage with your follower if he's using it too. Like, yeah, awesome. So I found it funny, just because like our design conversations were very explicitly like, yeah, this would suck in solo player. Like, all right, followers are allowed to use it, and then. People seem confused by this. Like, that's too cool to work. Like, what? That's the whole point of these items. They should be cool.
Just
I'm
melting
gonna die.
brains.
Oh, maybe not. Okay. I walked
I just
away.
had a moment where I wanted to run in there and lol at whoever had the Unity on. And no health. Although
Try it.
everyone seems reasonably geared. Well, except Leviathan. Scrub.
Who invited this guy?
I appreciate you taking the time to power level a character to 70, by the way, and join us. And
It's been refreshing, honestly, to head over to the softcore side, just because you're seeing the class from a completely, offensive side of it.
All deeps all the time.
Oh,
it's definitely a very different mindset from being in hardcore.
oh yeah. Even just like gearing
probably
needs
gonna be
too.
an
Like,
episode,
Nolan was dropping me some stuff last night when we were gearing up together on a couple, and I'm like, I can't use this. There's no like, I'll read a minute. Just kidding.
So how'd you die? How did your character fight it?
I was the dumbest death. So I was in a rift. I was doing the whole Nemesis bracers thing. So I had those in my inventory.
Okay.
I'm fighting a pack.
All right, this is a good start.
In a pack, and it's a pretty narrow, like, I forget which exact rift it was, but the area that I was fighting it in was pretty narrow. And to my right, and I see that there's a power pylon. So I'm like, all right, if I just go over there and hit the power pylon, I can just annihilate with my day. So I go over there and forget that I have the Nemesis bracers on, hit the pylon, those guys pop, and then I'm just absolutely trapped in the corner. Like, could not do. And so I got frozen, chain frozen, and then absolutely torn up by an arcane
So you screwed up and you died.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's awesome. It's better than your internet died and you died.
This is true.
We have some of our programmers and designers play hardcore, and watching them play hardcore together is the worst thing ever. They're just the trolliest group of guys playing together. Like, someone will go AFK in some place. Like, mistakes were made. Like, they try to get each other killed when they have to AFK. Or one of our designers one day, Don Vu, his computer was having problems and it kept like shutting down. Like in the middle of him playing hardcore with Roger and Kevin. And they were like, hurry up, get all the monsters! Come on, get them to Don!
Oh, man.
I think they got each other I don't remember. Hardcore seems fun. I will play it in seasons.
Woot. Got a new one, a new recruit.
Yeah.
I will worry about that later. I'm trying not to worry about the stuff in my stash. I got an adventurer's journal. That's interesting.
50K.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dope. Whoops. That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Should not have happened. Free 50,000.
Yep. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just like, where'd that come from?
I must have missed a loot table. I will look at that back in my desk.
I think I know where I got it, too, so...
It's... where?
I believe I got it in the Oasis from a chest.
From a chest?
Yeah.
Huh. I'll have to look at it. thought I got him. There's like 38 tables I had to go through. I may have missed a number somewhere.
All right. I'll remind you when you get back to your desk.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Look at that, multitasking, we're streaming, we're bug fixing.
Yeah.
Doing all kinds of
Getting
stuff.
work done up in her.
So I haven't seen many people. I haven't watched any streamers since the monk sets have been buffed. But internally, did you like do a lot of testing on those sets to try to make them better and more in line with the other sets? I guess.
No, we
I
just
know there's a lot of monk fans
totally
out there
picked
that.
numbers out of thin air. No, yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, we did. We sat down. We had a long discussion. So going into Reaper, we were designing like all the sets and powers, and it was all Theorycraft land, right? Like we didn't know what skills were going to be popular. We didn't know what the tuning was going to look like, what abilities people would like using versus which ones would be good. So we kind of made all the sets just in a vacuum of like, this sounds cool, let's do it. We can make it good if it's not good. And then we accidentally, well, I don't say accidentally, but we shipped some of them kind of weak, and that was one of the sets. Actually, both the monk sets were pretty weak. So we sat down and sort of did the post-mortem of like the ROS sets. Like, okay, so how good is, the Sunimon says, how good is Jade Harvester with Quetzalcoatl? How good is the Crusader set? And we sort of like broke down a rough power level of them and looked at it and went, okay, Jade Harvester is incredible, we know that. And so immediately some of our associate designers were like, let's make all the numbers that big. Like, okay, no, we're not going to make all the numbers Jade Harvester. That's going to be the high bar for like how strong we make stuff for now. But everyone should be like capable of something in the same ballpark. So, and then them talking about that was like, all right, Jade Harvester's like 6 pieces, and really we're 5, and they needed the Ring of Royal Grandeur, and they needed Quetzalcoatl. So it's a lot of effort, right? Like it's most of your character sheet to make that whole build work. So we wanted, the monks to have similar options, and it was like, all right, well, the bonus by itself won't be as good as, say, the 6-piece and the Quetzalcoatl and the Ring of Royal Grandeur, but, the set should be worth about this much damage, and then we can make some items that complement the sets, and that'll help push it higher. One of the sets is, like, themed around two-handers, which right now, I won't even get into the whole thing, TLDR is, people wish were better, so... we've been talking about that recently, like, okay, the Monkey King set's pretty decent, but two-handers aren't popular. So let's take a look at, like, how we're going to address that, what we might want to do. So we've been talking about that a lot lately. I've seen people doing the Lightning set a lot. I've seen people trying out the Monkey King set. Both of them seem pretty solid. I would say the Lightning set's probably better. Probably? I don't actually know, to be fair. I'm not 100% certain. I've got some friends who were running around with Monkey King set with like the, is it the Twin Dragon Daibo? I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
The one that procs double attack speed,
Yeah.
which is bonkers. So there's, it's still, I guess, being sussed out by the community. We did our initial testing, but we always say like, we're not gonna find everything that millions of players playing the game are gonna find. So we do our best, and we try to make educated and informed decisions, but at the end of the day, the player base is always going to find things we never expected.
Yeah. Right. Is there any examples of like a build that you saw that you didn't even think of, or an item combination that you're like, wow, like that's pretty creative and it's really good, or even just fun?
It's an interesting question. The new fire set, or the new fire, quote unquote, the fire Crusader build. It's one I didn't expect. Because everyone was like, one-handers suck, Dark Light sucks, Fist of the Heavens sucks. So it didn't even occur to me when we were like doing all the, like I did the huge tuning pass for 205 for Crusaders, and I was like, well, okay, these numbers look correct. We'll see what people decide is the new popular thing. So like going into 205, I had no idea. Like I was like, okay, I know Shotgun Spec's going to be back again because we're fixing Fires of Heaven, or rebuffing it. And I suspected there would be a fire build, but I didn't at all expect it to involve Dark Light and Fist of the Heavens.
On the other side of that, are there any builds that like you guys have seen internally that we haven't figured out yet?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, the new sets that aren't done yet.
The ones you guys haven't seen yet.
No, not offhand. I mean, y'all have seen everything at this point. The players have had their hands on the items. You know, the drop rate of things is substantially high enough, or sufficiently high at this point that completing sets isn't that hard for anyone that plays a reasonable amount. That plus Kadala, I'd say players have reliable access to everything to the point that they've sort of like felt out where the builds are and aren't. And really, for us, it's just a matter of like finding out what everyone uses, finding out the builds that work, figuring out which builds don't work because, like, oh, you know, if there was another item or two that supported this playstyle, there'd be a whole new build. So we spend a lot of time working around in that design space. Like, okay, fetishes are good. Don't need any more pet stuff. Like, all right, we got dots covered. What about nukes? You know, like maybe Witch Doctor needs some items that sort of reinforce, like acid cloud or.
Sorry, I keep doing that.
Anything. Damn it, Brandy!
Just trying to switch
Yeah.
racers.
Just
I
vote
clicked
kick
it by
this chick.
accident.
She's screwing up all the time.
Kick her? Oh, you can't kick her in a press.
Damn it. No, but yeah. So
I think there's little nuance things that people have missed, like the Laws of Hope conversation we had the other day is totally a great example of that, where you don't see a lot of people using Law of Hope, Wings of the Angel, when it's really, really quite good, especially for hardcore players. I don't know if people are aware of this, but it allows you to run through both enemies and Waller. So if you haven't found your Potion of Kool-Aid yet, it's a pretty good substitute for that in the meantime, and also gives you a movement speed boost on top of it. So.
You probably can't do it yet, but like, is there any hints towards like kind of the sets that you're working on or anything like that? Like, I'd love to see something to do with like bleeds, almost like a Jade Harvester set that like consume bleeds. That would be pretty cool.
So, I mean, generally speaking, I don't want to rehash the same ideas over and over. And that those ideas come up all the time. Like, oh man, you know what would be awesome? That set, but for my class. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. And I'm usually like, oh yeah, that would be really good. What if instead we did something that cool for your class that felt appropriate for your class? I mean, I think we've got, I know I've got most all the items planned out for the next patch at this point, but for example, the Zusader build, I've got a couple different Phalanx items coming in patch 2.1 because I love Phalanx archers. I think they're freaking awesome, and Phalanx bodyguards I thought were really cool. And I felt like that could maybe open up a whole new play style / build style for them. I know we've talked about doing here's a weapon you can have. I don't know if it's good. It's Warmonger, it's not bad. We've talked about making another. Crusaders are lacking sets because we made Invokers and it's Thorn. So, and we've talked about like that's one of the rare cases where like maybe we just change the set bonus.
That's right. I need to open it.
Like Thorn's just not working out, but some people like the fantasy, so it would suck to take it away from them. So instead, we're like, all right, well, let's just get a new set made, and let's make a shield bash focus set. Like, let's make a set where you just hit dudes with giant pieces of metal, because that's part of the fantasy that none of the builds right now focus on. So, or none
Hopefully
of
it's
the
like
end-game
a
builds.
shield flail kind of.
No, it'll
set.
probably just be a full-blown
pretty cool.
armor set. That's like just giant heavy armor and clubbing dudes to death with it. I don't know. We'll see. We haven't actually fleshed out what the specific effects are going to be, but that's a general thought. Like, yeah, we try to find play styles that we want to encourage, and introduce the items that'll supplement it or support it or introduce it. And then sometimes we just go like, I don't know, what sounds cool? Like, this sounds cool. All right, will anyone use it? I don't know, maybe. Like, someone somewhere will have fun with it. And that's when players surprise us with builds, right? Like, we don't want to tell you how to play the game. We don't want to, like, hand you things and say, this should be your spec. We just want to give you lots of cool toys and then let you decide what you want to do with them.
Well, that's kind of what the point of Theorycraft Thursdays is in general, is to get people thinking outside the 2 to 3 builds that everybody's talking about on the forums over and over again. I get asked a lot, like, oh, well, why haven't you featured any of the tier tier 5 or Torment 5, Torment 6 builds, and it's like, well, a lot of people already know about those, and somebody's already written a much better guide than I ever could, so at best that would be redundant. So I'm hoping that we can kind of explore builds at lower torments and see, hey, maybe there's some room for growth. Maybe there's something that people haven't really poked around with yet, and see where it goes from there.
Honestly, even your original Zoosator build, the Hunt Vaxo plus Agiras plus Phalanxes, like, I don't know, we didn't really set out to create a full-blown pet setup. We just came up with lots of cool ideas, and someone decided to make a spec out of it. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
When you're going into a build 2, are you, or when you're thinking of the items in the builds, right now there's a lot of really good fire items. Are you are you exploring different elemental? Some like I don't want to say like there needs to be a cold cinder coat or anything like that.
Frost
but
code.
Items that like really I know Frostburns are really good. Frost in general, isn't that like, it's awesome for CC? Like my Earthquake Barb is he runs Rhymeheart and Frostburn, so
cool. That's pretty cool.
It works all right. Like it's a good combination, but not near as strong as any fire builds.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes. I mean, ultimately, we've talked about that a ton, right? Like, we just kind of made Cinder Coat because it sounded, well, for starters, everyone was like, Cinder Coat sucks. I was like, oh yeah, watch this. Which is, it used to be more ridiculous, actually. I think Don Vu and John Yang, over the course of some evenings, were doing like tuning passes on some of the legendaries, and I came in one day, and I was playing in one of the internal builds, and I got a pair of Mage Fists, and I was like, who tuned Mage Fist? And they're like, Don did. I was like, why is it 40% fire damage? It seems a little excessive. And I mean, we were working on an expansion, and during the course of working on an expansion, you're kind of a bit, to a degree, you're in a bubble, right? Like, you're working with everything that's mostly theoretical, it's in-game, it's implemented, but you're so busy working on trying to get everything done that you don't have a chance to sit down and really appreciate it. So at the time, it was like, oh, yeah, 40% fire damage, that's cool. Cinder Coat, I don't know, fucking half off, why not? Everything's half off, like, maybe not half. Maybe not half. But, you know, Frostburns were meant to be that for Frost. They just turned out to be less good. And there's a bit of that, too, is just the general design of the skills themselves. Frost skills are all very focused around like crowd control, snaring, freezing. Fire skills are generally focused around just do lots of damage, set things on fire. So something that makes fire better is more valuable than something that makes frost better. But we do want to reinforce the different elemental builds and skill builds. I think plus elemental damage is actually one of the the generic affixes that worked out really well for us this expansion. Mostly because it makes you feel like you're kind of committing to a build. If you're going like, all right, I'm going to be Holy Guy, and I'm going to put Holy on all my gear, and it's going to be really hard if I want to switch to a different spec. So it makes it feel a little more sticky and a little more like the build you chose is your own build. And even if maybe physical's a little better, you're happy with lightning or cold. So we will eventually be looking at making things like bringing everything into a more even playing field, or trying to present equally awesome options. But yeah, right now Cinder Coat is bonkers compared to the elements.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask where the legendary gems are. You're not sure?
You're breaking up a bit. What'd you say?
Ask where the legendary gems might fit into the picture.
I don't know if have we talked about those yet, Brandy?
Not yet.
Do we care if we talk about those?
I think they were mentioned on a stream.
They were mentioned in passing, so we haven't
Okay.
talked fully about them yet.
Okay.
There are some details coming very soon. A couple of weeks ago, Travis told me to go away because I had been asking him lots of questions because I was working on a blog that
I said it probably exactly like that.
Exactly.
Like, just go away. I don't have time for this. No, I'm kidding.
But there is a blog that I have been working on for a while now, and we are waiting for the right time, but it is right around the corner. and we will be.
I'll give you the tiniest little snippet of info on them. You're gonna want to find really good socketed rings and amulets.
Hey, it's a good tidbit. In fact, I don't think it's in the blog.
You should put it in the blog. Look at
Actually,
that, educating people everywhere.
It might be in the blog.
Okay.
I haven't looked at it in a little while because I've been working on Theorycraft stuff. So
You're not helping my hoarding. Not helping at all right now.
I've been hoarding good amulets and rings with sockets for ages. Like,
Wow,
man, I should really
insider
make
information.
these
That's
good.
like illegal.
I don't think it's insider information if realizing that sockets and rings and amulets are so bad that I am sad to see them, and that's the impetus for going, all right, how do we make these good? Aha.
Right.
sorry, my
that's
earpiece is falling out.
I got my socketed ring Granger in the bank waiting for patch 2.1. Got like 6 of those in the bank.
Sockets. All right, that's something to look forward to.
I just found 3 legendaries
Is
in
it
a row.
just sockets in rings, or is there going to be some cool stuff that's coming for sockets in other items?
Nope. Rings and amulets for now.
Rings and amulets. All right.
Maybe expanded on in the future, but for now, that is our. Yeah, no, that's it. Sorry, I was looking at my inventory.
Inventory got you all distracted. Looking for sockets and rings and amulets.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was looking at my gear like, how am I going to fix these items? Oh, shoot. All right.
Is that a constant distraction for you? Do you, while you're playing, you
Just
look at
what?
looking at an item like going through your inventory?
Not usually.
Oh, okay.
I am in the land of I need better versions of what I'm wearing, which is hard to come by. That's why I've actually started to love. I was gearing up my Witch Doctor the past couple days because I've been like playing so much of my 4-box Crusader that like I've started gearing out like my 4th Crusader. Like it's basically like a waterfall. Like all the good stuff goes here first. All right, he's got it. All right, the second guy gets it. All right, he's got it. The third guy gets it. So my 4th guy was to the point where like they're all throwing Blessed Shields with Gerfalcon Foots and Jake and Boards and 6-3 Sacrat, and I was like, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna play some other stuff for a little while. I think I've sufficiently geared out my Crusader.
Yeah, this is exactly like me. Like, I ended up having so many sets of Crusaders that I just like leveled my other my alts, I guess.
Treasure Goblin.
And so I've got 4 Crusaders with full Akon set just sitting there, and I'm just gonna focus like creating different builds on them. So
Yeah.
I have my 2nd Crusader now, which I kind of have the one I play with everybody else, and then the one that I play when I'm at home with my boyfriend. And so I have the really well-geared one, and then the one that's not quite as geared because we never have time to play. So
I'm like briefly skimming chat. Someone said, "Can we have a recipe that melts all the absorbing amulets into one?" No, you cannot have that. No.
And shut down.
oh, that's another. So the last patch changed crafting mats.
Yeah.
What was the thought behind that? Did you just want no more? Was it just the inventory space that was the problem?
So that was. That's a long conversation. Well, it's not a long conversation. There's a lot of history to it,
things, yeah.
which I'm not going to dig into all of. But the short version is crafting really has 2 main jobs. The jobs of crafting are, A, let you make some pretty good items early on in the game before you found all the great sets and everything else. They're kind of stepping stones, right? And those are the recipes that are like, oh, this thing is just a yellow but with better stats and it's colored orange. Like, yeah, that's all it needs to be. And the second job is to provide you with like limitless sinks for materials, such that like more Forgotten Souls always have value because cool, I'm gonna re-enchant my item, or I'm gonna try to craft the perfect pair of Reaper's Wraps and run out of blue items and then complain that blue items don't drop enough because I made 800 Reaper's Wraps that want 100.
Is that a personal attack right there, Charles?
No, you don't even know. I walked in the day after the patch, and John Yang, who sits right next to me, was like, man, I'm out of blue materials. I was like, how many Reaper's wraps did you make, John? He's like, a few. I'm like, okay. You did this to yourself. Make some other slots, damn it. No, but so, I mean, crafting was meant to provide a stepping stone and provide end game sinks for materials. And unfortunately, the unique crafting reagent was doing some great things, like providing players with directed gameplay that they could control, like saying, oh, I want to make Reaper's Wraps tonight. How do I do that? Oh, okay, I'll go kill Malthael. And that's cool, in theory. But we found that it caused a lot of gameplay we didn't like also. People would flip games looking for a specific bounty for a specific NPC. And that gameplay is just not fun. And then the unique component was also getting in the way of like new players who should be crafting low-level stuff, crafting stuff. And it was getting in the way of high-level players spending tons of materials. So everyone was like, I've got 4,000 of every met because I can't craft anything. So we talked about it a lot. We deliberated on it for a while. And I thought about fixing it for 205, but I was like, nah, I don't know. I kind of like the part where people are farming things. But we decided ultimately that the cons were outweighing the pros. So that is the condensed version of the story. Sorry.
I like that that's the condensed version.
There's history there. I'm skipping all the history.
Do you think there'd ever be a way to bring that back? That in a way that's conducive to adding more things for us to do? Because I remember at one point someone had a quote that was like, we want people to sit down and say like, what do I want to do in Diablo today?
Yeah.
Before
that was me. That was me like a year ago. That's absolutely true. And I think I already talked about this a little bit. We want you to have more things to do, right? Like right now we have bounties, we have rifts. Those are great. They're fun. We're adding tier drifts. But ultimately, we want to provide you with more options so that if you like for the crafting case, like, oh man, tonight I'm going to go do this thing that I don't normally do. Mm-hmm. That's important to us. We talk about it constantly. We're always trying to figure out really cool ideas on how to implement that. One of the things that we're doing for patch 2.1 is, I think I talked about this before, we're introducing a Hellfire Amulet that'll be super sexy and encourage people to go kill Ubers. We're also probably going to buff up the Hellfire Ring a little bit, or at least the effect on it, so it's more powerful. Although I don't even know, there's so many really good rings that the Hellfire Ring is just a little dated. But the Hellfire Amulet should be super good, and that'll get people doing Key Warden runs and doing Uber runs, which will provide more activities, and that's coming at the same time that tier drifts are coming. Mm-hmm. So that should be introducing some more gameplay modes, and over time we'll just keep trying to add more. Whatever the game feels like it needs and whatever we think would best serve the players.
What about...
Did you just say a boat? Are you Canadian?
What about... Wow.
He is Canadian.
There's Canadian...
Amazing.
We've got a lot of Canadians on the team, too.
Unfortunate amount, yeah.
Unfortunate.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Leaving game right now.
You got caught. Busted. Yep. Get the Canadians out of here.
What about bringing back legendary crafting mats for an end game item that you have to craft? I know that you're saying that it's mostly a stepping stone, but what happened? Can't you have both? Can't you have the stepping stone portion where it didn't really require crafting mats, and then another portion where you might be crafting an end game item?
So that would be the good. Brandy just died.
I died.
Everyone mock her.
I died because I was stuck in that hallway right next to her when she... I love the fact that I died to my namesake, too. That just makes it all the better.
I'm switching over my witch doctor real quick. I need to spend all these blood shards, and he really needs a Mascajarum. Sorry, continue. Continue with your question.
I think I was done my question. I was just asking, couldn't you have both spectrums? Couldn't you have one end where it's the stepping stone to the legendaries? Yeah. And then the other where you're collecting stuff, and you can actually make an end game item that's maybe even harder to find than just finding a random item. You actually have to collect pieces to put it together.
You totally can. That is... So, we want both of those, right? That's where the Hellfire Amulet comes in. Right. The Hellfire Amulet's meant to be the thing that maybe you'll craft forever trying to get the perfect one. I don't know if I've talked about that. I think I've talked about the Hellfire Amulet. The Hellfire Amulet is basically you pick your main stat. It's like the old Hellfire Ring. Pick your main stat, 6 affix, primary of your choice, and then it will randomly unlock a passive for your class. So
Whoa.
basically, if you're using the Hellfire Amulet, you'll have effectively a 5th passive, but it's random, so you got to craft a bunch of them. And then even if you get like one of the passives you want, you still want to get the good stats, and that's theoretically one of the best endgame items. We want things like that. The biggest problem with the unique crafting components before was that they were more of a gate, and they were a gate that you couldn't even accidentally get. Like, you had to deliberately set aside, like, all right, the next 6 hours, I'm going to flip games and kill this chick on the bridge in the Oasis. And then after all that, I'll go craft 6 of the pieces and hope I get a good one. And if you do that once or twice, like, even that's really hardcore as a starting point. But if you do that and you go, man, I didn't get a good roll, you're suddenly really demoralized to do it again. And then that prevents you from, like, using all your Forgotten Souls, using all your blue components, using all your yellow components. And those, the blue and the yellow and the Forgotten Souls having value is more important than you feeling like targeted drops are meaningful. Because I want you to be excited to find yellows, even if you don't want the stats, or blues, even if you don't need them, or Forgotten Souls, even if the item was an upgrade. And the only way to do that is to give you things to do with them that are valuable, like craft your 87 sets of Reaper's Wraps.
Let's see. I'll have the rift waiting for you when you get back. Oh, that is true. We have about 10 minutes left. We can probably do another one in 10
Son
minutes.
of a... God damn you, Kadala. She gave me another Jade Harvester's hat. I'm wearing the hat. I don't even want the hat. Now I got 2 of the hat. She gave me a man, she was taunting me. Yeah. I got the Helltooth hat. I got the Jade Harvester hat. This one, a Mask of Jerem. Just give me a Mask of Jerem. It's funny. One of my coworkers, Jesse McCrae, I was playing a Witch Doctor since the game shipped. He would always tell me about his exploits trying to get the Mask of Jerem. Like, dude, I've been buying hats from Kadala. Still haven't got it. This was like, 3 weeks into the expansion. He's like, I still haven't got it. And I would pull up the spreadsheet and go like, I don't know, there's the drop rate. And he's like, damn it. It's not even that rare. I'm like, it's not even that rare, dude. But it was great, because then eventually he got it. And he's like, I was so happy I got the Mask of Jerem, and now I'm doing my Zunimasa build. It's amazing. And then he was like, but I got 4 Quetzalcoatls. I don't even want a Quetzalcoatl. I don't even have Jade Harvester. Here's a funny piece of trivia about Kadala. This is so... I kind of cried and laughed a little bit at the same time when I heard this. So, everyone knows that Kadala's... what's the right word for her? Frigid. We'll go with frigid. So, one of our programmers was looking into... making it so that when you get a legendary from Kadala, it plays the legendary sounds. That way you know you got a legendary. Because one of our programmers is colorblind, and it's a problem for him. Sometimes he says, like, oh yeah, I can't even tell an item's legendary. So one of our other programmers was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's hook up a sound that plays when you get a legendary from Kadala, and we'll see if that helps. So as he was working on that, he was investigating the code, and while he's investigating the code, he comes and gets like me and Wyatt. He's like, you guys got to see this. And we're like, what? He's like, Kadala's got more lines. And I'm like, what do you mean she has more lines? He's like, she's supposed to say different lines based on the quality of the item you bought, but she's only saying the blue lines. And we're like, she's only saying the lines that she's supposed to say if you get a blue for everything? She's like, yeah. And we're like, what are the other lines? And we sit down and he starts playing the other lines. And she's like, ooh, good job. Hooray. Thanks for you. And like, if you get legendary, she's like, ooh, that's nice. Can I have it back? And we're like, wait a minute. She's super friendly. Like, her lines are really like positive. And she's just been like this awfully negative woman this whole time. So we were losing it. Like, we need a patch note about like her having a total personality makeover. Like, Lorath's love has changed her for the better because she's not a giant evil frigid woman anymore. But it was pretty funny. We were all just like, how did this not get in the game? Oh my god, fix it.
So those have just been sitting around and not
They were totally sitting around, and it was hilarious because she's really perky. She turns out she's actually a kind of happy little chick, and she only was supposed to say like, "Oh, have fun with your paperweight, jackass." If you get like a blue item, and if you get a yellow or a legendary, she's like, "Ooh, that's a nice item. Ooh, that looks like an upgrade." Like, I don't remember what her lines were, but they were all really positive and reaffirming. I was just like, "All right, well, there you go. Funny story of the day."
That's kind of amazing. That was recent, huh?
Oh yeah, it was like a week ago or something.
I'm really sad I wasn't sitting downstairs when that happened.
It was great. It was great. Kevin and Steve pulled us into the office and were showing us. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We got about 5 minutes left.
5 minutes. All right, so we really need to book it.
Oh man, we can do it. We can do it.
Oh, we can crush it in that time.
Yep.
Shotguns.
Yep.
Ooh, braces.
I love the shotgun spec. I just stopped using it when I started 4-boxing. I was like, I need the laziest spec possible. Because 4-boxing's a pain in the butt.
So do you do anything else while you play?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
or-
Oh, totally. I watched, like, movies on my second monitor, TV shows, all kinds of stuff. Last night I was playing my Witch Doctor on my main monitor, and on my second monitor I had Netflix running, and then over top of Netflix I had Hearthstone running and was playing Hearthstone.
Oh man.
That is a level of multitasking that is beyond me.
I'm a giant nerd. I am like the biggest nerd ever.
That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, I'm a big Hearthstone person, so I got to know what.
What? Sorry, you broke up.
Yeah, he broke up.
Oh, sorry. What rank are you in Hearthstone?
0. I'm ranked 0. No, I used to like Hearthstone was in internal, like internal alpha and beta for years, years actually. And I'm a huge TCG player, so I played a ton of it internally. But Hearthstone has elements of it that more competitive TCGs that I had played didn't have, like the randomness, like Arcane Missiles. Totally missed the monster, and over time, like things like that, I realized that my personality did not mesh with trying to play the game competitively, because I like more like when I played Magic and way back in the day, I used to play like counterspell decks and played Legend of the Five Rings, and I played tons of Netrunner, stuff like that. I gravitate towards a more methodical play style, so when I would like lose a game to bet, like, something totally random happening, like, oh, of course you brawled, all 6 of my guys died and your one lived. Not that I'm dumb enough to play 6 dudes on the board at a time, but that kind of thing would happen, and I would get so ragey. I just decided it's better if I don't play ranked Hearthstone. I play Hearthstone constantly, but I play Arena because I'm just kind of like, whatever, it's fun. I don't care. Like, half the fun is building the deck, and then I get to play other people and see the cards they got. I think I had a rogue deck the other day that I almost got to like 12. I don't remember. I think I went like 11 and 2 because I had like 3 of the SI7 agents and like Alex Straza and a Deathwing and some other redonkulous stuff for my draft.
The draft, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I guess I'm gonna win a bunch. Hooray! No, but yeah, it's a great game. It's tons of fun. But I've very adamantly said, like, I can't do ranked. I'll get too mad if I do it. I was like the 4-year-old who, when he got mad at his video game, would like slam his controller on the ground. Like, that was me. And I've grown out of it, but it peeks its head back up periodically. Like if I play Dark Souls, like
oh god,
just my fiance would be sitting next to me like playing something, and I'll just be like, oh, well, I can't actually say what I would say on the stream, but I burst into explicatives, and yeah, Hearthstone has had that effect on me before too. So, for everyone's sake, I am rank 0. I play exclusively in the arena.
That's going to be you in seasons if you start over and you're trying to find your items and work your way up.
It would totally be
RNG.
me if I died to like my internet going out or something. I would just lose my junk. But I don't know. It's fun. I'll do it anyways. It's a fun experience. It's different, and sometimes it's fun just to mix things up.
I'm really looking forward to seasons.
Me too.
Yeah, I am too. It should be super fun.
And especially teardrifts.
Yeah, teardrifts are awesome. We playtest them daily. We have recurring meetings like multiple times a week where we playtest and iterate and tune up the teardrifts, and I'm totally missing the boss right now. 'Cause I just realized I'm like, oh, everyone's up north, and for some reason I'm way down south by myself.
Oh yeah, I know we're almost done, but Nolan and I were wondering, is the idea of the rift being exactly the same for everyone, is that going to make its way in, or is that something that got iterated out?
You mean are teardrifts going to be the same for all players?
Right, like is there a
It's gonna-
normalization
no.
to it?
No.
There's going to be RNG kind of related.
To a bit. I mean, we've actually been working a lot to try to diminish that to some extent. Like we've, toned down the strength of we have been trying out toning down the strength of conduit pylons and teardrifts, for example, so that if you're number 2 on the board, it's not because that guy got 4 conduits in his run and I got 0 QQ. We want to try to diminish the impact random is going to have, and we've been changing how tiered rifts and rifts in general. We've been changing how the bar fills up based on like the monster's hit points instead of just a flat value, so that harder monsters are more rewarding and they fill your bar up, so you don't leave all of the hammer fist dudes and stuff behind. Oh, I got a pair of strong arm bracers.
Oh.
Y'all can fight to the death over those two. Have fun.
Yep. Absolutely. So before we head out for today, just wanted to go over the builds that we played with today really quickly, and I can go ahead and take a look at a couple of them. Take a look at Leviathan's build here real quick. He's using something very similar to the build that we featured originally on the blog. And you can actually find that linked right below this video. And it's actually it's kind of a bit of a combination between what I'm doing now and what he's doing now, and it's been iterated on since his build was released before the 205 patch hit. So, but you're able to check that out here. Just be sure to look Leviathan up on the armory, and then we've got Monstrous's build. He is currently using Holy Shotgun. That's correct, sir?
Yes.
Yep. And then Travis was using the Jecking board Gear Falcons today as well. And I was using something also very similar to the Zeusader build that you can find online. So without further ado, I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I had a lot of fun. Found all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, guys.
Yeah, it was
super
awesome.
Super happy to sit down and chat.
And we did release a new Theorycraft Thursday earlier today. You can go and check out the Witch Doctor build we released on the main page. In addition, we'll continue doing these live streams about once every 6 weeks or so. And just be sure that when the vote goes up, vote for your favorite build or your favorite class, and we'll invite another developer, the person who submitted the build, and possibly an influencer or another developer along to hang out, have fun, and just chill. So thanks very much for joining us in chat. And remember, if you have a build that you want to submit to Theorycraft Thursday, go ahead and send it to me to theorycraftthursday@blizzard.com. My name's Brandy, and this is Travis, and
Peace.
Steven, and Nolan as well. And
Thanks for
you
having
guys,
us.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Take care, y'all.
Take care. Have a good one.
Peace.